Hi everyone, this is Ramesh Babu. I welcome you to my lecture on Safety and Security Systems, Module 1 on Access Control Systems. To continue with this lecture, I suggest you to see my lecture 1 because this is going to be a continuation of the lecture 1. I'm going to explain various systems. In various systems, we have door locks, boom barrier, turnstile, and flap barrier. If you look at all of them, door locks are primarily for controlling the people, whereas if you see the boom barrier, this is used to prevent the unauthorized entry and exit of vehicles. Whereas if you see turnstiles and flap barriers, these are devices installed to regulate the movement of people. To compare all the boom barrier, turnstile and flap barrier, um, as I told earlier, boom barrier regulates the four-wheelers. So very often you can see them installed in the entry and exit of a parking lot facility where there is an interaction happening between the device installed on the boom barrier and the vehicle which too has the card reader. As an example, you can see the devices like FASTag, which is there in practice now. Where you can see FASTag cards are stuck into your car, which actually interacts with the boom barrier and then it regulates the entry. Next is turnstile. Turnstiles is used to regulate the movement of people, and this also avoids tailgating of people. So if you have to see an image of a turnstile, this is an image of a turnstile. What happens is once you are accessing the turnstile, you can see that the device rotates to a clockwise direction and then it permits you to go inside. So the input is like thorough input is 15 to 18 people can pass in a minute, which is actually low and cannot be used in places where the traffic of the people is high. Next, if you see flap barrier, these are installed in places where there is more movement of people. In other words, as an example, typical example, you can see the metro stations. If you see in metro stations, you can see the access will be by many people, and you can see a lot of people queuing down. So a flap barrier can typically allow more people, which means like 35 to 40 people per minute. So depending on the application, the devices can be used. So you can see an image of a flap barrier, and this is a boom barrier, and this is a turnstile, and this is tripod which I haven't told now. So this is also a regulating device. This also rotates in a particular direction once you keep the access card device or if you are pressing a device to enter into this facility. Next is locks, electromagnetic lock. Before I go to this, let me show the video, sorry, an image of this one. So here, I'm just showing you a device which has a faceplate and then an electromagnet. Okay. So this particular device has to be installed into the door. Okay, for example, the faceplate, which is seen here, is stuck to the door leaf. And if you see the electromagnet, this is fixed on the floor. Now, so as I shown the image in the previous slide, you can see it consists of a faceplate and an electromagnet. The faceplate is fixed on the door, specifically on the door leaf. The electromagnet is fixed on the door jamb, or sometimes it is fixed on the floor. So if I see the name electromagnet, so these are not permanent magnets. These are temporary magnets which works when electricity is passed through this device. So on giving the power, you can see the electromagnet will act as a proper magnet and it will attract the faceplate and it will keep the door in closed position. when the electric supply is cut off, the faceplate is released from the electromagnet, which facilitates to open the door very easily. So as you can see, the device has to be operated by keeping your card into the reader or whatever IO access system. It can be a biometric system or whatever system that you are used to regulate the movement of the people. Next is motor lock. So these are motorized locks, okay, which open with the help of an actuator which is installed with this device. So in other words, instead of you going and opening the door manually, the action happens automatically in the device. So here also the access can be through an access card or a biometric system through which you are going to open the door. So inside this, as I told, there is a motor which will revolve half cycle and then it will cause the latch to retract. In retract position, the door is in an unlocked position where you can push the door. So in this retract position, the latch is held mechanically for a certain time, which has to be monitored by a door sensor. Because there is a chance that once the door is being opened, and if there is an obstruction kept in the place, the door will keep on in the open position, which will compromise the security. So here, if you look at the device, so you have a striker plate which is fixed on the door jamb on the wall, and this is the door leaf within which the motor has to be installed. To facilitate installation, the door thickness has to be a minimum of 42 mm. The next is door sensor with buzzer. As I told, this door sensor and buzzer has to be installed in places where you are having a motor lock, because this particular sensor is going to help you in identifying the open condition of the door. So in other words, door sensor is a typical device which is used to help you to alert the position of the door, whether it is open or whether it is closed. So if the door is kept open even after the pre-programmed time delay which is set by the user, in that case the sensor will open and it will create a alert. So this sensor has to be linked to the fire alarm system or any alerting devices which will generally alert the occupants. So this is an image. As you can see, a door sensor is installed here with a permanent magnet here. As long as the magnet is attached to the device, the alert is not created. And once the door is open, for a certain period of delay, the door will not respond. So after that pre-programmed delay, if the door is still kept in open condition, then the alarm will be activated. So that is the purpose of the door sensor with the buzzer. Next we are going to see the emergency release box. This is also called EMR. So in an emergency, when you get locked into an access control area, EMR box can be used. So EMR switch is connected to the door lock. When it cuts the power for the low contract, pressing and pushing the glass of the EMR box. Okay. In other words, let us say for example, somebody is stuck in your facility and he needs to open the door where there is no access control system or he doesn't have access to the facility and it's an emergency. In that case, the EMR box can be activated, which is like you have to go and press the EMR box, which releases the lock. But as the EMR box is already connected to the security system, as you can see, this is an EMR box. So as the EMR box is connected to the alarm system, it will initiate the alarm and you can hear the alarm device creating a noise. So the only difference between this EMR box, which which is used in a door and in the fire system is the color. So you can see an EMR box in red color in a fire alarm device. Yes, you can see EMR box with different colors which is attached to the door. So the primary function of this EMR box is to release the lock in an emergency by the user. Next we go to controllers. The controllers are the important devices which are going to be connected to the locks and security system and which are pre-programmed. So there are single door controllers and multi-door controllers. So if you look at the purpose, a single door controllers are used primarily for one reader and one exit reader. So whereas if you see multi-door controllers, the controllers are fixed to lot of devices and lot of doors depending on the purpose of the installation or depending on the capacity of the device. If you see a door controller, it's going to be like this. These are door controllers. Okay. So next is the software. So software is the software which is being installed into the controller, which is going to control all the door and other access devices. So these softwares are generally user friendly, the interface is user friendly, which is used to record all the activities. So as you can see in this particular user interface, you can see the time at which the facility is being operated, and sometimes the person who is granted access. And this is all another image installed in a university where you can see the entry time and exit time of the being punched in the facility. Okay, so you can see the user wise and create a log. Now let me give the difference between single door controller and multi-door controllers. And in single door controller, you can see the controller is connected to a single door. So whatever devices used to or connected to this single door are being controlled by this controller. For example, this EMR box, this reader, the lock and the other sensor devices are connected to this controller. And if you have another door, then you have to go for another single door controller. So in other words, it is like installing a dedicated controller for each and every door. Coming to multi-door architecture, which is enabled by the multi-controller. So the multi-reader controller, as you can see here, is connected to more than one doors. So you can have, say for example, you have 4 or 5 doors. So all the readers are being accessed through this controller. So once you have installed a multi-reader controller, so you gain access to all the doors. So depending on the application, the single or multi-reader controller can be installed. Let us say for example, within a facility you need to have separate access for each and every door. Then you should go for a single door controller. And that is the difference between the single and multi-door controllers. Yeah. Thank you.